My name is Angela Austin, and I'm a program improvement specialist with KECSAC. And this year, with all of the virtual learning and distance learning, our visits are going to look very different. And we talked about that at our meeting on the 19th, and we also discussed how documentation would have to be done digitally. And this will be a little training session on how to compile and upload your digital documentation into Google Docs. So let's get started, and we won't take up a lot of your time. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. And so you can see, I'm a visual learner, so I need to see things progress. I need to see where to click, what to do. So here goes. So let me share my screen with you. And the very first thing that you're going to do when you are doing your digital documentation is you're going to sign in to your Google account. And in your Google account, there is a waffle up here, and you will click on it and you will go to Drive. So once you are in your Google Drive, you have lots of options. You have new priority, My Drive, shared drives, and you want to ensure that you are on My Drive. So then you can see things that have been shared with you. You can see things that you have created. And what you're going to do to start and to make your template is to come up here to this plus mark tab called New. And it's going to give you some options. Do you want to create a new folder? Do you want to upload some files? And what we're going to choose to do is we're going to choose to create a new folder. And in that folder, it's going to ask you to title it. And so you would title it your program name. And then you would title it 2020-2021 KECSAC documents. And you will see that your new folder appears in your drive. So again, we'll ensure you're in My Drive, and now you have a folder. So with what we're basically going to do is we are going to start with this one folder and scaffold it into different folders so that we ensure that we hit all of our indicators. So we'll click on your program name, the folder you just created. Now, you'll see it says drop files here. Well, we're not ready to drop files because we haven't organized it according to standards and indicators. So within this big document, we're going to go over here and click New, and we're going to create another folder. And we're going to create that folder, and we're going to call it Standard 1. And hit Create. Standard 1 is that will line up with all of the indicators in Standard 1 of our side document. And so to be even more specific and to make sure that everything is crystal clear, we're going to click on Standard 1 folder. Now within Standard 1, there are 3 indicators, 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. So let's go back to My Drive. We have clicked on your program, and we have created a folder called Standard 1. Let's click on Standard 1. So now we want to make a folder for each of the 3 indicators in Standard 1. So we're going to go up here and click New and New Folder. And I'm going to label this folder 1.1 and hit Enter. Now then, for any documentation you have that provides as evidence for 1.1, you will upload here. So you can click on this and you will see down here it says drop files here or use the new button. So we have a folder now for 1.1. Now I'm going to go back and hit standard 1. So now I'm in the folder with standard 1. Now in the first standard, there are standard 1, the indicators are 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. So I need 3 folders. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on new. I'm going to make another folder and I'm going to call that folder standard 1.2. Create. Okay, so now within standard 1, I have a folder for evidence for 1.1. I have a folder for evidence of 1.2. Now I need one more folder for evidence of 1.3. So I'm going to hit new. I'm going to choose folder and I'm going to title this folder 1.3. So now I need to rename this, I'm sorry. So now I have subfolders within my folder for standard 1. And so now any evidence I have for any of these 3 indicators, I can digitally upload. So now what does that look like? So let's open standard 1.1. Let's open that folder, 1.1. And it says that we can drop files here. So I'm going to right click. All I did was right click my mouse and I'm going to choose upload files. And then you have up here lots of places where you have files on your computer. And so you will choose which file you want to upload into this particular folder. And I already have these up, so I'll just choose one of these. So I'll say I want to upload that. I will double click it. And as you can see down here in the bottom, it is showing you that you are indeed uploading this particular item. Okay, so let's review a little bit. I want to show you where we are, how far we've come. So let's look at My Drive. We're going to go back to My Drive. Here is the folder we created for the documentation of this year's evidence digitally. We click on this folder, and now we have standard 1. And within standard 1, we have the folders 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So that's all of this. That standard 1 only has the 3 indicators. So now we need to move to standard 2. So how do you do that? You're going to go up to this line, your address bar, My Drive, your program name, 2021 KECSAC documents, click on it. Now you'll see our standard 1 folder is here. Now we need to create a folder for standard 2. So now that we've clicked on your program name, 2021 KECSAC documents, you can either right click or you can go up here to new folder. And now we want to call this standard, if we spell it correctly, standard 2. All right, now we have our folder for standard 2. We need to go in, as we did for standard 1, and create subfolders for each of the indicators within standard 2. So we're going to click on standard 2, and you notice there's nothing on the screen except for drop files here. Again, we want to be as specific with documentation as we can. So we need to make folders for those indicators. So I'm going to jump up here and I'm going to click on new. I want to make a new folder. And we're going to call this folder 2.1. We'll hit create. So now any documentation you have for standard 2.1, you will upload here. And again, let's review how to upload. So let's double click that. Drop files here. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit upload files. So I'll choose something different this time. These are all the places where I have files. So I'll just choose one. Now, I double clicked it. It's uploading, it's complete, and now in standard 2.1, I have a document. Okay, so let's say that's all I have for now, and we need to go back and add another folder to standard 2 for indicator 2.2. You've got My Drive, you've got KECSAC documents, you have standard 2. So I want to add something to standard 2. I'm going to add a folder. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to add a new folder, and I'm going to call this one 2.2. That's the next indicator. Now that I have created that folder, if I have something that I think fits, a piece of evidence that fits well into 2.2, I can click on it. I can right click, upload files, and then it's going to upload, and now I have evidence in 2.2. So you'll just continue this process until you get through all of the standards and indicators, creating a main folder for the standard as a whole, and then within that standard, creating folders for each indicator within that standard. Now then, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a minute. So there, when people talk about sharing student information digitally, it can be kind of scary because we have to be careful with confidentiality, especially with our kids, even much more so than public school. And so a remedy for that, sharing information that has student identifiers, would be to go ahead and make a hard copy of those documents like IEPs, transcripts, student schedules, ILPAs, anything like that that would have a student name, would be to print it off, make a hard copy, redact the names, student numbers, anything like that would be make that student identifiable, and then scan those in and upload those that way. And that way we have ensured the privacy and the confidentiality of our students. So that is, in a nutshell, the way you can digitally compile your documentation with Google. Now, the next part I want to share with you is how do you share that with Peggy and me. So let me go back to share my screen again, and I will show you how that is done. So let me share my screen. All right. Now I'm going to go back to My Drive because that's where everything is. Everything that has my information, anything I've created is there. And here's the file we've been working on, your program name 2020. And let's say I want to share this with Peggy. She is my program improvement specialist. So I'm going to go up and I am going to hit, let me see if I can find it. Well, sure. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to right click on the file I want to share, and I'm going to go up here and it says share. And now I can add people that I want to share it with. So I want to share it with Peggy. I start typing her name, and I've shared stuff with her before, so she pops up, and I will click on her. And here you can send a message. This is my documentation for your review. and then you hit send, and a copy of that is going to Peggy's Google Drive, and she will receive an email alerting her that it is there. So really with Google, this Google Drive and Google Docs, it really is a very efficient way to share information. And that's what the name of the game is for this particular season in education. So if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me and I can step you through every step of the way. And I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you have a great school year. Thanks so much.